Should you list your midterm rental if you want to optimize for midterm rental on Airbnb or not? Does it make sense because Airbnb is a short-term rental platform? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you why it is actually in your best interest to list on the largest OTA platform in the world, but there's a certain way to do it, and here's why. So why is a midterm rental? What is it exactly? So midterm rental is known, and it's a pretty hot term these days being used. It's been around for quite some time. And a midterm rental is considered a 30-day or more booking, less than 12 months. And while this kind of doesn't necessarily meet the needs of or the purpose of why Airbnb was created, Airbnb is actually a short-term rental platform. But the reason it's actually advantageous for you to list on, again, the largest OTA is because if you're trying to cater to these corporations who are looking to relocate their, again, clients temporarily, it's in your best interest for you to live there because it is one of the many options that they use or leverage to find furnished accommodations. Now, here's the caveat with all this. Airbnb is a short-term rental platform, which means people are typically looking for 3-night stays, 7-day stays, 8-day stays, 7, 10, 15, 3, 2, 1, even one, sometimes 1-night stays. And so what happens is most properties that are on Airbnb are being operated as short-term rentals. Now, where the opportunity exists for you, and this is very important for you to listen to this, is for you to understand how people who are looking for midterm rentals operate. Typically what would happen is they will filter a time period from, let's say, April 1st to June 1st, and they're going to look for availability. Now, because Airbnb, just like any OTA is an online travel agency like an Expedia or anything of that nature, when you filter for those dates, it's going to bring a set of available dates or properties based on the dates that you selected. Because the Airbnb platform caters to short-term stays, what will happen is within that zip code from April 1st to June 1st, you may find that. If you're currently getting value from watching this video, you'll want to make sure you take a second and click below to grab the midterm rental insurance blueprint to help accelerate your process in being able to land these midterm rental insurance contracts with respect to your marketplace. Make sure you click the button below and grab it and continue on with the gems in this video. Listings that are available, all interchangeable words, are going to be smaller than if you're looking to stay for the next 3 days. That is because typically if I get booked from this Friday to Sunday, right, and I'm on Airbnb, there's a good chance if you've got a really good listing that you can get booked on weekends pretty easily or pretty effectively. If you have a good product, the people will come, right? And that's why Airbnb's made it super easy. You've given us a lot of different inventory. But what happens if I'm a relocation specialist or if I'm the displaced policy holder and I'm looking to relocate a family for temporary housing with furnished accommodation so they don't have to worry about furnished, they can just move in and operate in a midterm rental, or at least take advantage of a midterm rental stays. What will happen is if, let's say, from Friday to Sunday, I'm looking at the specific zip code, I might see 120 properties. But then if I go from April 1st to June 1st, I might only see 5 properties available. Why is that? That's because the way the filter search is used, it will only bring the properties that are available for that time period. Now you have to think for a second, why would some of those properties actually be available if they're any good? Bing, bing, bing. That's it right there. Most properties are either going to have one weekend booked out in the middle between from, April, May, June, right? So they're going to have at least a couple weekends booked, at least a couple of days booked, which means that when you go and filter that search, whether it's you or the relocation specialist, or you're looking to relocate your family temporarily, and then your insurance company is going to reimburse you, you actually might not be able to find anything, or it might be limited because the booking next month is going to filter out that property as available. So what does that mean for you as an operator? What does it mean for you? And when I use the word operator, I mean anybody who's looking to capitalize on these lucrative midterm rental corporate contracts that you're able to land based on number one, availability. How can one take advantage of it if you own, if you co-host, if you manage, or if you're arbitrage a property? What you want to do is set a minimum of 30 days, or even 14 or 15, and you are making your listing basically available for you to be booked on. So is it in your best interest? Should you list your midterm rental on Airbnb? Absolutely. Why? Because midterm rental operators are not doing it, right? If you're a midterm rental operator, it means you're probably saying, I am sick and tired of Airbnb. I do not want to deal with high turnovers. I do not have the infrastructure in place. I do not have the patience in place. I don't even have the cleaners in place to deal with this. Therefore, I'm going to go to Furnish Finder, or therefore I'm going to go to Zillow Rental Manager. But if you're savvy and you understand the process of how one is able to navigate and book these bookings, then what you're going to do, it's going to be in your best interest for you to actually list on those platforms and tweak your minimum. Change your minimum to 14 days. That way, the only inquiries you're going to get is 14 days. Now, if that's you only want 2 turnovers a month, then that's probably to get into the midterm rental space. It's usually for that reason. Usually, you're either an Airbnb operator and you don't mind the turnover, or maybe you do and that's just the only thing that you know, or you're a midterm rental operator, meaning you want to do 30-day stays or more, or even 15 days or more, because you just don't have the bandwidth to keep on dealing with the cleaning and the turnovers, etc., and the people coming in for a couple of days and finding something that's wrong, and you not having as much a leverage point because it is only a 3-day stay, and now 1 out of their 3 days has been ruined, and now they're going to ask for a refund. If you're dealing with this, yes, you should list your midterm rental on Airbnb, or even keep your existing listing on Airbnb and change the amount of minimum days, because then you will show up in the filter. And ideally, I'll give away my biggest secret. You duplicate your listing, or you just create one listing that's dedicated to just only people who want to stay for a long time. That way, you're able to then show up in the filter. When someone filters for 30 days, you'll show up. When someone filters for 60 days, you'll show up, because you're only accepting bookings that are for that long. And that will increase your chances. And yes, there is a certain way of doing things, and that is what allows you to get the upper edge. So if you're wondering, should you list your midterm rental on Airbnb, you don't need to think again. You just need to just do another tweak again to make your properties profitable again. If you got value from this video, make sure you click the next video called How to Get in Front of Relocation Specialists in Your Market.